There's actually an incredibly long history of the right wing appropriating the history of antiquity, classical mythology, ancient Greece and ancient Rome to legitimise their ideologies and supremacy. Not just in 20th century Italy, where Mussolini positioned himself as some sort of heir to the Roman Empire and used the incredibly incorrectly termed Roman salute, which has since been adopted by the right wing worldwide and has absolutely no historical basis as a thing that the Romans did. Just FYI. To modern political discourse, there are numerous examples from across Europe and North America where classical imagery of heroic figures such as Heracles/Hercules or Achilles have been used as examples of some sort of like idealized masculinity, one which is cis, het, and white, despite the fact that it's documented in classical mythology itself that these men had relationships with other men and therefore don't actually adhere to the standards of this sort of alt-right hyper masculinity anyway. And this all sort of circles back to like a problematic historical association with antiquity as the bastion of culture, although specifically the antiquity of the Mediterranean, because of course this does not apply to ancient civilizations outside of Europe. In fact, the achievements of civilizations like ancient Egypt and the pyramids instead get attributed to aliens, which is something which is rooted very much in racism and white supremacy. And I think as ancient historians and people who talk about antiquity and mythology online, we have a duty to make it clear where we stand on this and that we are in opposition to this. And I want to make other people aware of this sort of like insidious way in which antiquity is used and that the imagery of antiquity is used, so that you're aware of it in case you come across it, because it can start off very light and it can very much escalate. There's also been more discussion of this, I think, in the academic community. There was a great book that came out a few years ago called Not All Dead White Men, which is actually by Donna Zuckerberg, who is in fact Mark Zuckerberg's sister and is a classicist and an academic in her own right. And this book is fantastic because it explores the way in which alt-right communities online use classical antiquity to legitimise their sexism and misogyny. So of course I'd love to see further discussion of this, as well as the fact that I believe as people who talk about these things online, we do have a responsibility to be talking about it as well.